Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So today we will discuss about economic issues and bioinformatics market. And these are the learning objectives of the current today's lecture. So when we talk about global bioinformatics market, so it's a billion-dollar industry. Um, and these are the figures of 2024 and 2023 projections. So in um, global market is around 14 to 16 billion right now, and it is projected to go up to 40 billion per annum. So there is a estimated annual growth of 13 to 15%, and so what is the fastest growing segment in bioinformatics? It is the cloud-based genomic platforms, and largest market is regional market is North America, which is almost 40% of the share, and the highest growth region is Asia in Asia Pacific, particularly China, India, and South Korea. So, so there are actually what kind of products are there and what are their market segmentation, how it works actually. So if we talk about by product, so we have bioinformatics platforms or softwares, then there are bioinformatics services, and then there are knowledge management tools. If we talk about the by application, then the top of the line or priority should be genomics and transcriptomics, and then on the second level, which is has moderate kind of priority, which is proteomics and metabolomics, and then the drug discovery and chemoinformatics. If we talk about by end user, then pharmaceutical industry and biotech firms are the largest users, and then academia and research, and then hospitals and clinical labs are on the least priority. And if we talk about by delivery segmentation, then on-premises installation is the top of the priority, and then cloud-based platforms is the second one, and then hybrid deployment is the on the third level. So, who are the what are the major players who are sharing this market actually, who are taking over this market? So, on top of the some of the names are very big. For example, Illumina. They are offering NGS instruments, and they have hardware plus consumable regions and software subscriptions. Then Thermo Fisher Scientific, also one of the big companies, which actually does sequencing and develops certain biosciences softwares. And their business model revolves around integrated platforms with service contracts. Then Kyajin, which is CLC Bio, it has developed a CLC workbench, genomic workbenches, and it gives the licensing and perpetual licensing and cloud-based SaaS tiers. Then VGI Genomics, DNX6, Bench Link, and Seven Bridges. These are all the big companies, and these are their business model normally revolves around the softwares they develop, and they earn by giving the subscription annually. So, what are the economic drivers and what are the barriers to the further development? So, key economic drivers are global genomic data is doubling actually. It is actually more it is expanding more than our computational capacity. Then there is a demand of precision medicines. Pharmaceutical industries are actually um, they are actually huge crisis because of this, because they do require computational drug designing, and bioinformatics actually reduces this whole R&D expenditure by actually billions of dollars. So this is one of the major economic drivers. So COVID-19 pandemic was also a very major driver because it has accelerated. It has you can say pushed people to actually invest in um, accelerated in genomic surveillance or rapid diagnostics. People don't have time to of 10 years to develop vaccines or to get into the root cause of a particular disease. Then cloud computing actually also reduced the cost, overall cost of the services. AWS and or Google Cloud are the major, you can say, drivers in this particular domain. Then AI machine learning integration, which has actually automated the mining process. Um, we have developed, people develop drug target binding, variant classification, etc. And then what are the barriers? So, in clinical genomics, we have a massive data, which is a massive demand, which is still unmet, and the challenge is that there is not enough legislation or regulations to data privacy. Then the strong venture capitals are needed. Um, so Baji and CS talent, there are very few people who are actually well versed in both the domains. Then regulatory harmonization effort is also a barrier. We have fragmented standards. um, Open source communities. Uh, there are open source communities which actually reduce entry cost, but high initial infrastructure investment is needed. You want to build a you can say startup, but you need an infrastructure to develop or execute the pipelines you develop. So growing demand from agri-genomics and food security is also a barrier in this regard. Pricing models are very interesting. Almost all the pricing models which actually see traditionally in other cloud-based platforms or other software products. So these are also implemented in Bioinformatics. For example, we have perpetual licensing. You purchase one time and then you have to bear high pros upfront. CSC Workbench is one of the examples. Then the subscription-based pricing, their pay-per-use, it is like of elastic computing, especially uh, cloud-based platforms actually use this pay-per-use model. Then freemium, that means core features are free, but premium capabilities behind paywall, and you can use certain free features, but if you want to use more, you have to monetize it. Then bundled your platform hardware plus regions plus softwares are actually sold as a bundle. Illumina use this business model, and they are very successful in it. Then open source plus pro, then there are free softwares revenues from consulting, support, contracts, and training. It was used by bioconductors, and so these are the pricing models that are in use actually. Intellectual property is very actually important. So there can be algorithm patents, database IPs, open source mandates, patent tickets. So trade secrets, there can be trade secrets as well. So these are all intellectual properties in bioinformatics. For example, algorithm point of view, people develop computation methods, and the unique methods are patented all over the world. Um, and then there are proprietary databases like Uniprot and PDB. Then there are open source, you can say, consortiums like NIH, EU, Horizons, Wellcome Trust. Um, there are also overlapping patents on some sequencing methods, which creates barriers. CRISPR IP was demonstrated economic stakes. And they are trade secrets, which are proprietary scoring matrices, machine learning based model weights, and training data sets often more valuable than filed patents. Okay, so there is a comparison between of open source versus proprietary, so economic trade-off. So open source paradox in bioinformatics is that you have some fundamental tools like Blast and many other like Bioconductor, BWA, SAM, which are actually mainly maintained by academic labs. Then there are commercial players actually um, which actually build on top of these open source materials, and they benefit from the R&D of the community. Then there are free rider problem. Many companies use open tools without contributing, and sustainability risk for academic maintainers. So then there are dual licensing models. For example, GPL plus a commercial licensing attempts to balance openness and revenue generation. And then there are public cloud providers like AWS, Google, Genomics, which actually commoditize compute, but add proprietary workflow orchestration. So this is about property rights and pricing models of the different bioinformatics services online. For next lecture, for next part, we will be with you in the next part.